Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of the Men Made for More podcast. Today we're talking about some simple strategies to improve your ability to consistently eat clean and reach your nutrition and fitness goals. Most men struggle with consistently eating in a way that lines up with their goals. And whether you're trying to build muscle, lose fat, or just feel better and have more energy, it comes down to consistently giving your body what it needs when it comes to nutrition. A lack of consistent clean eating is one of the main things keeping men from getting stronger, losing fat, and performing better in the gym and in their daily lives. Consistent eating doesn't have to be as hard as we make it, though. It doesn't have to involve you being robotic or rigid in your eating. Some simple strategies and habits can go a long way in transforming your habits and your lifestyle. And if you can consistently make these changes and stay the course, you have the opportunity to reach new levels of performance, build muscle, lose fat, and live with more energy and confidence in your body. So most men are looking for the quick fix to reach their health and fitness goals. And the coaching clients that go through the Men Made for More coaching program always hope that I'll give them some magic bullet to seeing the results that they're after. They want the best diet, supplements, and other things to build lean muscle and lose fat. What guy doesn't want that to some degree? And although that's important and it's okay to have those goals, I always hate to break it to people when there is no secret other than consistency. And while this is great news that you don't need to fit yourself into a certain way of eating that doesn't work for you, it's also problematic for a lot of guys because this takes time and intention. Crazy extremes are not necessary to get healthy and fit, but staying the course and avoiding major setbacks and self-sabotage is the key to achieving those long-term and lasting results that most guys are after. And I know how frustrating it is, though, to bounce from diet to diet, hoping that this next one is the one that takes you to a new level. And trust me, I've been there. I also know how overwhelming it is to try and make sense of all the nutritional and diet info that's available out there. The good news is, though, some simple strategies and consistency is all that's needed. So you don't have to follow the next best thing. You don't have to jump to the next proven method. It really just comes down to consistency. And I can speak from personal experience because I've tried just about every approach in the books. I've bounced from thing to thing, bodybuilding style diets, high carb, low carb, keto, paleo, Whole30, tracking everything, trying to eat intuitively, you name it. I've probably tried it to some degree. And it wasn't until my wife, Lindsay, got certified through Precision Nutrition that I started getting some coaching that actually worked when it came to consistency and changing habits that are actually sustainable and create some long-term results. And while I probably stand with most guys listening that I wouldn't mind being leaner, sure, I'm finally eating in a way that supports my goals and doesn't feel restrictive or limiting as well. And that's the sustainable approach that we're after and that you can achieve with this approach. And with all the coaching clients I get to work with, we're after the same thing, a way of eating that supports your goals, your lifestyle, and is also sustainable to consistently stick to. So, what are some practical things and strategies you can start doing to start eating more consistently? And when I say consistently, that involves clean and consistent. It's not just about eating consistently, but eating in a way that supports your goals, your lifestyle, and the body that you're after. And we're going to talk through 5 strategies to get started with here today. But remember, all these principles are not all or nothing principles. Apply them in whatever format works for your lifestyle. So the 80-20 format is a popular approach where 80% of the time you try and be more strict, more compliant to some of these strategies, and then the other 20% give some leeway. But that's going to vary person to person. That's not a magic approach by any means. And sometimes a 90-10 approach is needed for someone who's needs to be a little more strict, or 95-5 even for some people if they're really chasing some higher goals. And likewise, it can drop a little lower than 80%, but find the frequency that works for you, find what works for your lifestyle and your goals, and just start applying some of these things. So these are applicable whether you're just starting out or if you've been playing around with this stuff for decades now. It just comes down to how much you want to turn up or turn down the dial on this. But the principles and the strategies apply regardless of where you're at. So first thing, prepare and eat whole unprocessed foods until you're satisfied. So when we get away from some of the processed things, some of the readily available things, and take time to prepare and eat those whole unprocessed foods, that's where all our nutrients come from. That's where we'll be more satisfied. We won't find ourselves reaching for more of those processed things because your body will have more of the nutrients it needs, and you'll be more satisfied and more content what you're eating. And you don't have to worry as much about tracking necessarily. You don't have to worry about um, how to structure some different macros and things if you're focusing on those whole foods, and make that the priority, make that the focus, regardless of where you're at. And if that's the first thing you do, and if that's the only thing you do, you're off to a good start. And then eat until satisfied, not eating until you're overfull, and taking some time to actually listen to your body and start to become aware of that. Second strategy is drink plenty of water. A lot of times dehydration can present as hunger, and it can cause you to reach for things that you might not actually be needing. And those things probably are not always broccoli and carrots or anything like that. Those things are probably more the highly dense, more processed foods. So if you're drinking plenty of water, if you're staying hydrated, that will help with knowing hunger cues and making sure that your body has the hydration it needs to perform at a high level. Strategy 3, eat slowly and without distractions. This one's huge for consistent eating, because a lot of times we scarf our food down, we're distracted, we're looking at our phone, we're scrolling through social media, we're trying to take care of work stuff at the same time, and our body might not even realize that what it's consuming, or might not have time to process that. Our nervous system, if we're in that fight or flight state where we're doing other things, then we're not going to actually digest the things as well. We're not going to be able to absorb those nutrients, those nice unprocessed nutrients we talked about earlier. And all these things will then cause either a crash, a craving, cause you to think you're hungry when you just haven't had time to fully process it. And by eating slowly, enjoying the food, and taking the time to let your body process those things can go a long way in helping you eat more consistently and avoid some of those setbacks that commonly creep in. Fourth point, eliminate triggers that keep you from eating consistently and eating clean. And this isn't a blanket statement. You guys know what that is for your specific life. If having sweets or treats around does not serve you, and if you find yourself eating them just because they're there, then they might not need to be there. You can always go out and get something if you're really craving it, and you're craving that consistent thing is better than keeping things around and then feeling like you're craving it just because you see it or you're thinking about it or it's there. Some of these other triggers can be work stresses, life stresses. It can be eating out. It can be social things. Any of these things that are causing you to stray from that consistent eating need to be addressed. And that doesn't mean to stop doing those things. That doesn't mean to be antisocial by any means. But the premise behind it is knowing what triggers are there, where you're going. Do you need to eat a meal before? And just being more involved in the planning process, and being able to identify potential barriers and address those ahead of time. And this leads us right into our fifth point here. Set small goals. Don't try and do it all at once. Think about one notch better in your day-to-day, your week-to-week, your month-to-month. If you can keep turning yourself up one notch better in these categories, it's going to go a long way. And that can be something as simple as choosing a piece of fruit over a candy bar. It can be something as simple as having one beer instead of 3. It can be any of these things that are just a small notch better, where it doesn't have to be all or nothing like we talked about earlier. It doesn't have to be removing all these things, but just slowly aim for that one notch better. Along with that, don't get discouraged. Don't let one bad decision turn into 5 bad decisions, and use accountability. Seek support of friends, families, family members, people that are after the same goals, and get a little tribe, get a little community that can support you and hold you accountable. And if you have the means to do it, hire a coach. They'll give you clear guidance. They'll help you to stay accountable and to address a lot of these things that are common setbacks or barriers for people. So to wrap things up here, going for the all or nothing or quick fix approach is a recipe to keeping you right where you're at today. And trust me, I've played this game too much and I still struggle with it. But if you fail to find a series of habits and strategies to help you consistently eat clean, you'll continue to fall short of your health and fitness goals and won't perform up to your full potential. And instead of bouncing around from diet to diet, imagine eating in a way that feels easy and allows you to consistently look and feel the way that you want to. And all that's possible with finding some strategies that you can implement regularly and consistently for a way of eating in a body that you can be confident in. And unless you're already crushing it with your nutrition, don't overlook any of these strategies as too basic for your lifestyle. Consistent eating habits are key to achieving the results you're after, and there's no better time to start than right now. If you need some additional guidance, make sure to download the Inside Out Strong Living Roadmap we put together, and you can do that through the link in the show notes to get some more specific recommendations that we give our clients. Whatever you decide, guys, just start and just try and implement these things. Start small, and these actions will build up over time. Keep working hard at it and striving for those small improvements. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.